All right, so we've seen two functions, a constant and identity function or linear function. So now let's look at absolute value. So we talked about this a little bit in I think it was the last video. So here we have f of x equals the absolute value of x, right? So if I plug in -8, then what's going to happen is I get the absolute value of -8, which is +8, right? If I plug in -6, I get the absolute value of -6, which is +6. So what's happening is I'm going to get +4, +2, right? What about 0? What's the absolute value of 0? 0, right? So I'm just going to get 0. Because remember, absolute value is distance away from 0, right? So 0 is 0 units away from 0. F of 2, if I do absolute value of 2, I get +2. Okay, absolute value of 4 is +4. Absolute value of +6 is +6. And so forth, right? So what happens is if I start plotting these points, -8, 8, -6, 6, -4, 4, -2, 2. Oops, got off track there. -2, 2 is right here. 0, 0. And then look what happens. I get 2, 2, 4, 4, 6, 6, 8, 8, 10, 10, right? So it ends up being the identity on this side, right? But on this side, it's sloped downward. So what we have is a V shape. All right, so that's what absolute value function looks like, is a V shape. All right, now let's look at a quadratic function. So a quadratic function is where we have a squared variable here. All right, so if I do the same thing, if I'm looking for f of -3, I would get, let me see, let me put the original function here, x squared. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the input in and square it. So here the input's -3. So if I square -3, I get +9, right? F of -2.5. If I square -2.5, I get +6.25, right? And so forth. If I square -2, I get +4. If I square -1, I get +1. If I square 0, I get 0. If I square 0.5, then I get 0.25. If I square 1, I get 1. If I square 1.5, I get 2.25. If I square 2, I get 4. If I square 3, I get 9. So when I graph this, -3, 9 is up here. -2.5, so it's somewhere right in there. And 6.25, so something like that. -2, 4. -1, 1. 0, 0. And then 0.5 and 0.25 is about right here. 1, 1. 1.5 and 2 1/4, about right here. 2, 4. 3, 9. Okay, so you can see this one's actually not a straight line, right? Like if I put a ruler here and try to connect these dots, it's not going to include these other points here, right? So this is actually a curve. So it's going to make that type of shape. Okay, and that's called a parabola. All right, so that's what quadratic functions look like. It's a curve, kind of like a U shape or a parabola shape. So now that we've done these transformations, or excuse me, now that we've explored and figured out how to get these, this is a handout that I'll put in your, I'll make it available on Canvas. that shows you some parent functions, right? So these are the most basic functions of their kind, and we're going to do some transformations with them. But the ones that I want you to focus on are constant, linear, absolute value, quadratic. Okay, and some of the other ones are good to know, and you'll definitely have to know them later on in your math career. But for right now, and for this assignment, we're gonna focus on those particular ones. Okay. All right, and notice on this one here they use 4 as their, so this is actually f of x equals 4. All right.